I literally look so freaking different from the last time I filmed. It's too hot still. Yo guys, it's your Mama Momo, and today I'm doing the video about my septum piercing. A septum is something that I pretty much wanted ever since I was about 12, 13. It's something that I've sort of always wanted. I just think they look really nice on other people, so I was like, maybe they'll look nice on me, and if they don't, I can always take it out. I went to get my piercing done with a few of my friends who were also getting piercings, therefore I wasn't doing this alone. I'm gonna be honest, I've never been good with pain, especially with needles. I have my ears pierced and I almost backed out last second, so I've always stayed away from needles and everything for this reason, which is pretty much why I've never actually done it before, even though I've always wanted it. So I think being with my friends helped me, because as they were getting piercings done as well, I wasn't alone in the experience. It was all really fast. It started off with my piercer asking me if I wanted a smaller septum or a bigger septum to be able to flip up and hide inside your nose. I actually went with the smaller septum, which you can see here. I don't know the actual size of this piercing, but it was a smaller one, so basically you could only see like the little balls coming out of my nose and you couldn't really see the bar, and that's what I had it pierced with. As I said earlier, I don't do very well with needles, so I basically looked away, and I think that helped me a lot because I didn't see what was going on. But in all honesty, it was done within about 5 seconds, and he kind of looked at me and was like, it's all done, and I was like, what? Is that it? So I didn't, you know, you feel the needle go in, but you know, it's like a sharp pinch for about 3 seconds and then it was just sort of done. So I honestly didn't find it as painful as I thought it was going to be. I was shopping anyway with a few of my friends, so I went and picked up a few bigger piercings. I got 1.2 times 12 milliliters, and I got another clear septum, and the one I've got in now, which is the same size and a black one. My piercer gave me a letter of things that I needed to do, and obviously one of them is cleaning your piercing and looking after it properly. The way I did it was for the first few nights, because I wasn't comfortable putting any acidy stuff on there yet, for the first few nights after having my piercing done, I boiled some water, put it in a little pot, and then I would put some salt in it. I've been told that you're not supposed to use table salt, but I think that's what I used. But it worked well with me anyway, so if you're not supposed to use it, I don't know, because nothing bad happened with me. And then I would get one of these little things, a cotton bud, and I would stick it in the water and put it up my nose and give it a little clean. I obviously waited till the water was cool because it was boiling hot water, so I wasn't just going to burn my nose, but that's what I did. I didn't find it as painful. It obviously is quite irritating to have salt on a wound, but it wasn't as painful as you would think. At least I didn't find it painful. When I felt finally ready, I decided to put some TCP in it. TCP is a bitch. Just gonna throw it out there. It's a horrible thing. And I did the same thing, cotton bud, put it in, twirl it around. I watched a lot of tutorials and they said that drying is just as important as cleaning, and what I would do was use one side of the cotton bud to get wet and clean out, and then I would flip it over, use the other side and dry it out, and I would also dab it with a tissue, and I would make sure it's properly dry as well as properly cleaned. This stuff really does sting once you put it on, but it works and it's good. So I do recommend this stuff. It would be 3 weeks in 2 days time since I got my septum done, and this morning I finally decided to give it a try with changing. Now I don't really recommend leaving it for about 3 weeks, but I haven't had that bad of a recovery. I haven't found it to be painful. I can move it around, and I think the most they say is 4 to 6 weeks leaving it in till you can change it, and I would recommend that, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm really impatient, so I decided to give it a change this morning. I was really worried because I couldn't actually pull the balls off this morning, so I thought maybe I was stuck with it, but I tried using rubber gloves and tweezers. I found the rubber gloves to work better, and I managed to get the ball off. I think the hardest part for me was getting the new piercing and trying to find the hole to put the new piercing in, But I eventually got there and it took me about 20 minutes. I haven't done it again, so I don't know if I will improve over time, but for the first time to change it, it took me 20 minutes. I'm not finding it irritating. No, it's a big one. I'm not finding it painful. I can move it around quite well. With the bigger one, what I will say is you can feel it like when you walk. I suppose you'll get used to that, but I've only just had it since today. You can feel it every time you like drop your head down, you can feel it drop in your nose. I suppose that's just something you got to get used to if that's something that you want to do and live with. I know there's a lot of questions about whether you can still blow your nose and stuff like that. For the first few nights of having my septum done, I was sticking a cord. This is probably really gross, but I get blocked noses quite a lot. Being born with, I think it's called glue ear, so that affects my nose quite a lot. So I use cotton buds and I just sort of, you know, clean my nose out that way with boogers and stuff. And well with me, kind of gross, I guess. But now I can blow my nose normally with tissue and whatnot, and it doesn't irritate me. It's not painful in any way. I don't think it's supposed to irritate you. Have I had any trouble with boogers getting stuck in my piercing? I have, but once again, this is probably really gross, but you know, if you want to get the piercing, I suppose you've got to think about this stuff. Again, I sort of just twiddle it round and then I got my cotton bud and I'd get the booger out, and yeah. That's probably really TMI. Getting my septum done kind of made me want to get another piercing. I just don't know what. I'm thinking up in my ears somewhere. I know there might be a lot of questions about work and whether you can get work with it. One, you can just take it out. Once it's healed, you can just take it out. And two, I think that's the stuff you need to think about before you get it done anyway. The same with tattoos and all piercings, you know. It depends where you want to work, because if you want to just get work anywhere, probably not a good idea right now, because yeah, it can affect you and that's just life. You kind of do need to think about that beforehand. But I feel like that's the same with every piercing and every tattoo or whatever you get. I will say I was recommended to not play with it so much after you've got it done. I would recommend that, but in all seriousness, I didn't follow that rule, because I know people that have had piercings and their skin's grown over and then they can't move it anymore, and so that scared me. So I tried to wiggle it around just like once a day just to make sure it can still wiggle. I would say leave that for like a week after the piercing and then start wiggling it, just so it doesn't, no skin grows over it. As long as you look after it well after you've had it done, it will work and it will be great and you will love it and everybody around you will love it. Who cares what everyone else thinks? Oh, that's the thing. What do people think about my piercing? I mean, I feel like I'm interviewing myself. There's no one here, by the way. I'm literally asking myself these questions. My mum, when I first walked in, she liked my mini one because you could only see the little balls popping out of my nose, so she didn't mind that. But when I changed it to this one this morning, she was like, oh, I don't like that. But in all honesty, I don't really care what people think. Like, I like it, and I've never been fully happy with my appearance before, and I don't know, I just like how it looks on me, and if I didn't think it looked good on me, I would take it out. But I've always thought that septums are quite attractive on people, so I was like, oh, maybe I can get it and be an attractive person, but you gotta have an attractive face for that one, don't you? Overall, my experience with getting a septum was great. I haven't had any major problems with it so far, so I definitely recommend it, and I definitely recommend you do research on it first. I think if there's anything I do regret, it's not doing research on it first, because it was after I got my septum that I was starting to watch loads of tutorials on how to cope with the septum and all this, whereas before I got it done I didn't really think about that, and I was like, oh, let's just do it because I've always wanted it. So yeah, I would say do your research first. Apart from that, I think that is all I have to say. I will see you next week. If you like this video and want to see more of my experiences, click the thumbs up. Subscribe if you would like to become a moo-moo, and I will see you next week. Bye.